What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Slammers Podcast. I'm your host, Bo Garino, joined as usual by my co-host, Ben Litt. We missed you guys last week. Life gets in the way, but we're here. We're here to catch up on some GAP match stuff, some qualifiers. What else do we got on deck?
We got our trials and tribulations at Hollywood as well, part of the Jersey 4-ball at the probably at the end of this episode.
Yeah, that's very raw right now. I'm admittedly a little bit down still. It hasn't even been 24 hours yet. So
yeah, the wounds are fresh.
Yeah, the 24-hour rule is in effect right now. But let's get started with the GAP matches first. So last time we recorded, we were after week 1. We talked about some upsets, some bad performances. Anything notable in the last 2 weeks that we could point out here to our listeners?
Yeah, I guess. Do we want to start at the top just with AA and how the tables are shaking out right now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so it looks like at a high level here we have pretty much kind of what we expected at the top of the tables for the 4 AA divisions. We had Lulu 1 taking control of that first section, Philly Cricket 1 totally blowing out that second section, Lulu 2 a bit of a surprise over Marion 1 in that third section, and then Huntington Valley 1, who had such a strong season, beating Glenmora National 1 in the that final week. So those are going to be the 4 teams headed for the GAP matches. It's kind of crazy. We have 2 Lulu teams in the mix this year for that crown.
Yeah, I think that's the second time it's happened. I think cricket did it back in maybe 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, not 100% sure, but 18 or 19, I think. But it is weird thinking about it because you have half of the players in the field playing at one course.
Right.
So you're each team sending 2 guys to that course.
Right.
And then obviously with Lulu 1, it's such an advantage for it because they have half of their guys playing at home. Right. It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Even when you think about it, it's very interesting. It's gotta favor them. If you got to pick somebody, where are you going?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like you said, with Lulu 2 being in the field, make a little manual adjustment in favor of Lulu 1 as well. At least looking at the numbers and how all of these teams performed over the last season, we looked at 390 some teams. Philly Cricket was 3rd on that list in points above expectation. Unbelievable. And Huntington Valley 1 was 5th in that list out of 390 teams. So I think I'm just going to fade Lulu for the time being. Lulu 1's team scored 85th in points above expectation. So pretty good. Middle of the road, right? They have a lot of good players, but I'm going to go Philly Cricket 1 again this year. I think they just waxed and ran right over Section 2, beating Saucon Valley, Overbrook, and White Marsh like clean by almost 50 points. So they kind of lifted and separated. I think they sent the biggest message, and I'm going to go with Philly Cricket 1 here. Pretty chalky, but that's my pick.
It's funny to bring up Saucon because you had mentioned earlier when you ran some analytics that you liked their team in AA. You thought they had not a chance at beating Cricket Club, but they could be competitive.
Right.
They got crushed by Cricket Club, but they did win their next 2 matches.
Right. They finished second.
So yeah, I mean, I got to give you a little credit there.
Yeah, it was not that the live line wasn't looking great week 1, but yeah, we righted the ship for sure.
Yeah, they eclipsed their win total. Yeah, you can't argue with cricket. Like you said, the numbers speak for themselves, and they won in 22, and before that they hadn't won until 2018. So 2 times in the last going on 7 years now.
Right.
As much of a dynasty as they are, it is hard to win these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it comes down to just 18 holes.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get the effect of, some of the courses that are in the finals, home course advantages. We know how hard it is to play at Huntington, how hard it is to beat those guys there. I'm going to go against you and just say I'm going to see Huntington. Okay. Huntington repeat again.
Like I said, I can't fault you for that, right? Top 5. There are 2 top 5 teams in the GAP this year, and I think as far as home course advantage goes, I'm going to fade both Lulu teams this year. I think we would both agree that is decidedly the weakest home field advantage of those 3 courses. So Lulu hasn't won in a couple years, and I don't think this is the year for either of those teams as well.
Yeah, no, I think we're in agreement there. But we love we love giving Russ some bulletin board material. He loves this stuff. So I'm sure, he'll be playing this to the guys.
Yeah.
And, obviously you wouldn't be shocked if they won.
And I guess we would be remiss closing out the AA convo with your dead nuts DuPont 1 stinker. 43 points this year in the total year. They ranked 395th out of 399 teams this year in points above expectation. You had this one early in the season that they were just going to put up a stinker this year. And it looks like they might be headed down to A pending this challenge match upcoming.
Back where they belong. They're challenging Little Mill, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
we're looking at the numbers. I don't think it's official yet. GAP hasn't put it out yet, but if they play Little Mill, you would have to think they would just. I mean, they should lose to Little Mill. I would think.
Right.
I don't want to use the word crushed, but I think they will probably get beat handily.
Right. Yeah.
Because Little Mill's a AA team.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, they scored. If we want to go there, Little Mill scored 123.5 points this year in A. With that Jersey section of the Legacy Club, formerly known as Woodcrest, Medford Village, and Running Deer. Running Deer stunk in that division, by the way. I just wanted to shout out Jaws there. But yeah, it feels like Little Mill is the University of Kentucky team that kind of missed on recruiting class, had some injuries, shows up to the NIT tournament and just bludgeons the guys. And everyone kind of knows that it's a down year and they'll be back in the main event next year as well. So that would probably be my biggest wager is Little Mill 1 winning that challenge against whoever they're playing in AA.
Yeah, it's a shame we can't get some lines on that stuff.
Yeah. It looks like as far as guys, other teams challenging down, it looks like White Marsh 1. They finished in that Philly Cricket 1 division, 56.5 points. And then Philly Cricket 2, kind of surprising, scoring only 46.5 points. It seems like their teams always are at least middle of the pack at best.
They always seem to just stay in that AA. Like they're obviously not going to win. Right. Oh, they did win it the 1 year their division, but most likely not going to win their division, but also not going to get challenged down. They're going to finish in that 2 or 3 spot. But this year I guess there's a little bit more disparity between the 1 and 2 team for the first time in a little bit.
Right. And it is interesting. We Tavistock 1's team in that same division with Glenmara, Huntington, and Philly Cricket 2 outscored them by 30 points on the year.
And we know that Tavistock team's not very good.
Yeah, I ran the numbers on them. 368th in teams in points above expectations.
So almost like a bottom 5% team.
Right. They didn't play well, and just the numbers really aren't adding up for them. It'll be. I think Philly Cricket's going to dig deep and win that challenge from AA and stay in it. Wouldn't you agree?
I would like to see who they're challenging, but that is still a tough challenge.
Right. And I think if it goes...
They have a long... Because with the challenge matches, you can let anybody play. The handicaps don't matter anymore, right? So I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll have a long list of guys to pull from.
Sure. Yeah. And it looks like some of the top scoring teams in A were Little Mill 1. We talked about their... probably fait accompli to challenge back up to AA. Bent Creek's first team scored 106 points, and the Country Club of Scranton scored 104 points. So it might be a long drive for some of these A teams getting up there for a challenge match.
Man, dude, I don't know how we used to do that.
Right.
I remember the 1 year we had Wyoming Valley and Wildwood in the same division.
Oh my God.
I said it was almost like a 5-hour drive.
And that was just for the regular, not even the challenge.
How do you get guys to do that's so incredible. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it's like almost like you can't go backwards in life. I just can't imagine being like, oh yeah, we're going up to Wilkes-Barre tomorrow to play Huntsville or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I can't do it. I really can't do it anymore.
Yeah. No.
It's too long of a day.
Yeah. Can you imagine being on the box at like 8:30 or 9 a.m. at Country Club of Scranton and you're down here in South Jersey, right, for a challenge match? I think the last challenge match I played in was, I think, 2015. And we were up, the challenge match was at the Country Club, Allentown, Brookside.
Oh, okay.
And that's still way up there again. That's another 2+ hour escapade up there, another 14-hour day or whatnot. So
how is that place?
it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's not very...
It's just okay, yeah.
Yeah, no. Nothing to write home about.
And before we move on from the gap match segment, we got to point out some of the win streaks. we posted on Twitter about Chris Thude's 22 match win streak continuing into next year.
Yeah.
Really incredible stuff.
He won all 3 points in every match this year. Mailman stuff. 3-0, 3-0.
No one even sniffed breaking that streak. Yeah. Any other win streaks that were notable?
So it looks like, Mark Benevento decided to dust off the clubs in week 3 and show up for one. Got the win there. I forget who they were playing, but he's up to 12 now, 12 in a row in AA. So he's now the longest active AA streak. We talked about Marty McGuckin in that week 1 pod. He hasn't played. And so now he's still stuck on 11 in AA. So we have 2 Philly Cricket 1 guys holding on to those longest win streaks in AA.
And Bobby Sallet officially got chopped up, right?
Yeah, officially a casualty. Bob lost. It was week 2, I believe. Yeah. A sad ending to, I would say, a legendary run down there in Linwood.
You think the pressure just got too much for Bob, or what? You think maybe?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter. It's tough to see your name thrown on SportsCenter, right, and seeing that stuff and the expectations. Probably got too much for him. Honestly, some guys aren't cut out for that sort of pressure, and they can just crumble. It's not an indictment of the guy. Yeah,
right? It's just he's out of the spotlight down there in Linwood, right? He's kind of buried down there, and like being down there in Tampa or something, right? Where there's no media, there's no coverage, right? No one really cares, and all of a sudden a headline pops up, and Bob goes out and lays a stinker in week 2.
Right, yeah. He piques the interest for 1 week, and he's captured the audience for that 1 week and can't deliver. And that's it, right? Short leash.
It's like Jeremy Lin, right?
Yeah. Short leash for those guys, right? 1 week they're the best player in the NBA, the next they're out of the league.
Oh, your boy Mikey Block.
Blocky. Blocky.
Nobody's a bigger fan than Blocky than Ben.
Right, absolutely. I love all the great activation, the Jim Beam commercials, all of those activations he's doing out there. Big fan of that whole thing. I think Jim Nantz said it was one of the great golfing accomplishments of his lifetime.
Oh, wow.
Of Jim's lifetime, right?
Okay.
Guy that has seen Tiger win the Masters 5 times. He's seen Phil win the PGA at age 51 and Michael Block, right, making the cut and what did he, T15 in the PGA championship that last year? He said, and not to get off on Blocky, but that up and down that he had on 18 left of the green, 45 yards, Jim Nantz said that was probably the best up and down he's ever seen given the circumstances. He got up and down from 45 yards out of the rough to T15 in a major. Yeah, unbelievable.
Jim's gotten soft on us. He really has.
The amount of hyperbole has just gotten out of control with that guy.
I'm glad that he's faded away into the distance. He had his time.
Yeah, for sure.
I think everyone's kind of had enough of that. I wonder how. I saw they had the Club Pro thing, and that's worth pointing out too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Braden got in again.
Yeah, he's in the mix.
Yeah, Meisenthal missed it by 1. It's a shame. Our local guy, Mike Meisenthal from Little Mill.
Yeah.
Eagled the last hole, which I played there last year, is an incredible eagle.
What was the course they played at?
Frisco.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The new place down there. That's getting PGA, a lot of run.
The new PGA headquarters.
A lot of run down there.
Yeah, well, they have a couple PGA scheduled. I think they already had a senior PGA out there. Yeah. It's just one of those places that has the structure and the facilities to host something like that.
Right.
And it's low cost because I guess PGA owns it, right? So for them, this it just makes it logistically make sense. But point out, I Block played in that. I forget if he got in or not.
Really?
I feel like it would have been a headline if he did. He must have missed.
Of course. If only he had Rory's driving, right? Because he said he has some of the best. He would be on tour if he had Rory's driving. He has some of the best short game in the world, right? So I'm good on all of that. I did want to go back to some win streaks just because we wouldn't be doing these guys the credit that they deserve. Lonnie Adams won week 3, extending to 16.
Where's Lonnie out of?
Lonnie's out of White Clay.
Okay.
White Clay 1. So he has 16 in a row there. They're an A as well, so that's pretty strong. But Thude up there, 22, the highest. Lonnie's now the second highest active win streak. Casey Klinger, another Linwood 1 guy, halved his match in week 3, ending 16 in a row. So sorry, Case. It's no dice.
The O-1 is just,
Yeah. And then we had one more, Colin Smith of Bitterman's first team in A. He won week 3, now 13.
Okay.
So now we have 22, 16, and 13 in a row. Those are our top 3 active win streaks to watch in the GAP matches next year.
The chase to catch Brian Gillespie at 34.
At 34. Isn't that the craziest? Have we even said that on the pod yet?
I don't think we have.
Yeah, for the viewers that don't know, Brian Gillespie had won 34 straight GAP matches spanning 3 decades from 2006 to 2022 out of St. David's 1. 34 straight matches. That's incomprehensible.
And didn't he only give up a point in like 4 of the matches?
Yeah, the vast majority of these were 3-0 affairs.
Just stompings. Man,
34 in a row.
You hate to say there's no chance because Chris has to win for another 4 years in 1 match.
Right.
But I don't know if that record will ever be broken in 34.
If
I played on our Riverton 2 team, I wouldn't break it. Like if I was playing 6, 7, 8, I mean, eventually
you can absolutely grind it to have, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I can definitely have 6s and 7s with the best of them, right? Yeah, so he's got 12 more to go. That's 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years plus a match.
2028. Like we're going to be already done the PGA in Aronimink in 26, the USM in Marion in 26, and this guy is still going to be working to eclipse the 34 mark. You'd imagine with Andrew Green doing that renovation at Torresdale and kind of making the course less crazy, that works against Chris's favor.
Yeah,
right. It's kind of neutering
it's
neutering that home course advantage. So it's something to watch too. Do you know the timeline of that renovation at Torresdale?
I don't. No,
okay.
I don't.
Okay. Hopefully they don't muck it up too much for Thude, right?
Yeah.
Keep his favorite spots on those greens, favorite on the fairways. Yeah, keep this dream alive.
All right, let's move on to some qualifiers.
Sure.
As we're watching today, we might as well just start with the one that is happening as we're recording here. I'm looking at Ballamore Am qualifier. I think it's the first Philly Am qualifier we have.
Yep.
Looks like the cut's going to be +2, maybe +3.
Okay.
And just to hammer home the point of how hard it is to qualify for this stuff anymore. I mean, I wanted to just touch on a couple things that in my experience in the last couple weeks is I had the qualifier up in Rock Spring for the Jersey Mid-Am, and I was 2 under through 10. I made it. I 3-putted 11, went to 1 under, and that was the first time I really started seeing like, okay, what's the cut going to be,
mm-hmm.
right? And looks like it's going to be +2, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, do I try to medal, or do I just try to play safe and get in, right? Because there's literally only a 3-shot swing between me, who was leading at the time at 1 under, and the cut.
The margins have gotten so slim.
And the last 5 holes of out of bounds left, and I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, I'm 1 swing away from not even getting in.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's honestly not fun. It really isn't fun because it's like I want to sit there and be like, oh, like you want it to be like you look in there and you're 1 under and you're like, the cut's going to be +5. And it's like I have 4 or 5 shots to play with. I can just try to make birdies and try to put up really good round together here.
Right.
And like to be able to convince yourself that this logically makes sense. Right. They're like, okay, hey, I pop 1 out of bounds, right? If I did,
mm-hmm.
I hit the next one up the right side, I make double, and then I'm just fine, and I'll just play safe after that, or just kind of like just not do anything stupid. Like, right, you know, like when you're playing well, you're not just going to start blowing balls out of bounds, right? You might tug one or something here
sure.
or there. But to sit there and be like, dude, I've played really well up to this point, and I have no wiggle room. It's just crazy how different the qualifying scene has gotten.
I know it's really converged to like that USM or US Open mentality, right? Where it's like you got to have in your head that a great score is going to qualify, and there's only a few spots up there, right? And after only a few bogeys, after a few holes, you could be totally out of it after being so far in it.
And you just can't care about medaling or putting up posts in a low round. Like, just get in.
Yeah.
There's none of that. Like before, when the cuts were 78, 79, you're 1 under, you're like, dude, I would have to like have a severe injury to not get in.
Right.
Like, something crazy would have to happen.
Yeah.
Like even looking at this now, like this, there's a couple guys at 2 under, a couple guys at 1 under. Through 9 holes, I mean, the cut's 2 over, you go out and shoot 40 on the back and you're out.
Yeah. Right. And on the converse too, at some of these, maybe if they set up the course somewhat easy, if you happen to play poorly on the front 9 and go out in like 6 over, like you can consider a WD almost.
Just slam it. Yeah.
You could almost consider a WD. Like some guys that in a US Open qualifier go out or like in like 3 or 4 over and they're done, right? Yeah. They're just trying to find the closest hole to the clubhouse and can walk back in, right?
Yeah, no, it's almost gotten to the point where it's a little concerning to me, because you're starting to get to the point where, especially from a jersey standpoint, where they don't give many exemptions out, right? And then you're starting to get to the point where you're eliminating guys that could actually win the whole tournament, right? And I get it. Look, it's like, sure, like if he's that good of a player, he should be exempt. And I get that, right? But it starts getting to the point where you get a guy who's a really good player who goes out and shoots 74 in the qualifier and misses. And when you're eliminating guys that could win the whole thing, I think that becomes it's almost like a little too much for my liking.
Yeah, and I think we both understand that the qualifiers are just a big fat variance fest, right? Based on course setup, and like it's only 18 holes, right? It's not a crazy long time to lift and separate from other players, right? Of differing skill levels.
And oftentimes you're playing a course for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Like Rock Spring, the greens were bad, like they were bumpy,
So
right?
much
So it's like
variance.
there's so much goofy stuff going on,
Right, and even still with the qualifiers, the courses are not the best. I wouldn't say they're the best designed courses in the area, right? There's like the risk between the birdies and bogeys are really not that much, right?
The shot value's not there. They're
Right.
not designed to just lift and separate the better players, right?
Right.
It kind of muddles everybody together,
Right.
right?
There are many different ways to score and shoot 72 or 73 at some of these places, right? Whereas,
And that benefits me sometimes. Like
Yeah,
I've slapped
me
it.
too.
I've slapped
Me
it
too.
around and shot 2 over in this stuff before. I'm like, if I was on a real course today, like put me out at the cricket club or something, I wouldn't break 80.
yeah,
You know, if you gave me
Yeah, you
five
just get
or six
exposed.
4-irons
Same
in my
here.
hand, but if I'm just blasting driver around and wedging on,
right.
so you know it works both ways. But I'll never forget the year that Dave Sanders won the Jersey M. He had a qualifying, got in on the number, and then won the whole thing.
Wow.
Right, so that's my point.
Yeah.
Right, like you get these, like you start eliminating guys that can win the whole thing. I don't know, but yeah, GAP stuff. So getting back to the GAP schedule, Mid-Am qualifying is complete.
Mm-hmm.
The Mid-Am schedule for the 21st at Commonwealth. Running down the qualifying for that, you had 5 Ponds, which was that crazy windy blustery day.
Yes.
Then you had Scotland Run, which is that beautiful 80-degree day. The number was low there. It was 74, right? 3 over. And then you went to Irem, right, which had its 23 guys or whatever out there. The number was 78.
It's Bermuda Triangle, man. Welcome to the experience.
So you had a 6-shot difference between the medalists and the actual cut there, which is more like old school numbers.
Right.
Not this like 3 to 4 shot, which you're starting to see more often.
Right.
And then the last one was that outdoors, which I've heard from a couple people that actually was a pretty good venue. It was in
Nice.
It was in good shape.
That's great.
And for a qualifying course, it was pretty good. And the number there was 75, so +3, and then the medalist was 3 under. So once again, +3, another pretty low. And this is early in the year stuff, right? A lot of this is people's first tournament of the year. It's their first time really teeing it up under any kind of pressure. So I don't know. It's interesting. Like you wonder at some point, do these low numbers start discouraging the guy who's a 3 or 4 handicap and says, well, I can go out and shoot 77 on a good day. Right. But can I shoot 73 or 4? Right. Like at some point, it's got to get a little bit discouraging, no?
Yeah, the player pool has gotten so good. Not to put you on the spot, but what was the qualifying number at 5 Ponds?
I think it was 77, I believe.
77, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So the conditions kind of dictated that number.
Yeah, that was just all condition based.
Yeah.
And then and they had it set up pretty easy too. Like their tees were up, and they had one hole that was waterlogged and turned into a par 3.
Right.
One thing we forgot to mention about GAP matches real quick was that whole sticker incident. I want to touch on that real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I know we're jumping all around here, but I got wind that I guess it was like the stickers that you need for the TrackMan. I don't know. I'm not a big TrackMan guy, so I don't even know what these are.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess
either.
there's a certain machine. I guess maybe it helps read spin or something. I don't know.
Okay.
That you put on your driver.
I have no idea.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I think someone said like the quantum. Is that? Do you know what the fuck that is?
GC Quad? Maybe it's
the GC Quad. That's right. Yeah, I think it's whatever. I guess one of them you put stickers on.
Okay, it's helpful for the club path and stuff like that.
I have no idea. I don't even want to act like I know it.
Right, me neither.
I'm really out of the indoor golf scene. I'm a complete novice. I can barely get logged in the track, man. But yeah, I guess they left them on their driver, and Ledge Rock in the middle of their AA match against 1912 called them on of the violation, because I guess you can't have any temporary sticker or anything affixed to the club. Right. And yeah, so they called on him, and I guess they DQ'd him and took all the points, I guess, in that better ball and the matches, and supposedly that was the deciding factor in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean,
don't like how that one feels.
Talk about losing the spirit of the GAP matches.
Yeah.
I mean, another man takes his time and drives all the way out to your course, right? I don't know where it was called at, whatever. But right, either way, you have teams that are traveling. People are sacrificing time with their families and friends and making time to come out there and compete against you in a match. And you're going to call on something that has no advantage, right, to producing a better score or beating you. That's sad.
I take it that whoever called him on it wasn't winning the match at the time.
Of course not. Well,
right?
I'm assuming it didn't take him to the 11th hole to notice the sticker on the club. It was just in the back of their mind. And all of a sudden, whoa.
Very disingenuous.
I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that so bad.
Yeah, I couldn't subscribe to that more.
Whoever did that's a total loser. I don't know who did it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that almost should come with like a year suspension or something. Ban him from
conduct unbecoming of the GAP matches.
Because like I said, it's ruining the spirit of the game. This isn't the USM, right?
No.
This isn't like
it's very far from that.
Right. And we've even kind of touched on this a little bit from our experience with the GAP matches, is that for us in that B division, it's getting really hard to even get up for these things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, to touch on, Ben and I played this past week together, and man, the vibes were low in that cart.
I know. But not to the fault of either of us, right? It was just the overall environment. The overall environment was rainy. We
were playing for nothing.
Yeah, we already had lost our week 2 match, so it's silly season. March for an NBA team that's tanking and looking at number 1 draft picks. We had nothing to play for out there. The stakes couldn't have been lower. Not much juice. Not much juice compared to some of the other stuff we get to play in.
Yeah, and then imagine calling somebody. I mean, I know it's AA or whatever, but I just can't imagine saying, "Hey, buddy, that sticker. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to." You're done.
It's so crazy, man.
It's so crazy. I got to hear more details. I want to know who did it.
Yeah,
we got to get some names. I don't have them.
Yeah,
but either way, I'm happy that Lulu smashed those guys in week 3 and just ended that whole controversy. Because
I agree.
If somehow Ledge Rock wins that and they're in the finals, then it's like really not fitting, doesn't sit well.
Yeah, it's a true ball don't lie situation.
Yeah. All right, back to qualifiers. Sorry to sidetrack there. I forgot about that, and I really wanted to mention that. I thought it was worth throwing out there. So yeah, the mid-am field set and qualifying just started, and yeah, the slammers, I gotta give us a little bit of a shout out. I mean, we're not one to toot our own horns. If anything, we're here to downplay our games because we don't think very highly of ourselves. But we're 4 for 4 on qualifying this year.
Right.
Not that means anything, because we haven't done a lick in any tournament, the real tournament. But we're batting 100 on the qualifying scene. So we both played in the Jersey 4-ball yesterday at Hollywood, and I want to take a moment to talk about, I love Philly golf. I'm a total Philly homer. I love Flan. I love so much of his work in the area. But man, those North Jersey courses are so good, dude. They're so well conditioned. The attention to detail, like everything about North Jersey and Long Island golf to me just screams the best. And this isn't a knock on Philly, right? There's great courses, but there's just something different up there for me. I don't know if it's just me. Do you agree? Or
I loved it. I mean, Hollywood was exceptional. We can probably get more to that in detail in a bit, but the venues, the way the tournament was run, just the overall experience, the player experience was, I would say, second to none for sure.
And doesn't it just feel like the average course up there compared to the average course here, the average course there is going to be in better shape.
Yeah.
The pretty good course up there compared to our pretty good course is in better. Like it just right up the line.
Yeah,
it's
just marginally
better. Yeah. And
that's not a big difference.
No, but it's like the attention to detail at like a Hollywood is just so incredible, right?
Yeah. A1.
The fescue's perfect. The bunkers have firm lips, right? Everything releases back to the center, right? And they have 1 million bunkers, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, once again, the attention to detail, right? Everything's bouncing appropriately.
Yeah.
And on top of that, everything obviously is pure, but that's where I just feel like down here, we miss a lot of that attention to detail around here. And I think because of that, because of a lot of guys who don't travel and play up north or on Long Island, like we almost overrate the conditioning of some courses down here.
Sure.
And it's like, isn't this place in great shape? It's like, yeah, it's fine, but like, have you played on Long Island recently? Have you played, some of these North Jersey tracks?
Yeah.
I think our layouts go, toe to toe with them, but I just think from like an overall vibe and just conditioning, just seems to be a little higher up there.
Yeah, the vibes are unparalleled out at Hollywood. It's just the scenery, the setting, the conditions, the whole thing. There's so many cool elements about that place that you kind of don't get down here as much, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you have the premier golf courses in Philly, right? But I think we're more commenting on the average.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Right.
On
exactly.
a large sample size, the average, right? Because obviously Marion and Arana.
Exactly. That's my point.
Pine Valley and Huntington Valley, they stack up against the best of Friars Head and Hollywood and Somerset Hills and Arcola and right. But the average is elevated up there.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm getting at. And I think Hollywood is to get onto from an architectural standpoint, I think in my opinion, it's the ideal way to design a golf course in the sense that it has half shot penalties on almost every shot, right? And I think that's almost what, if I was designing a course or what I look for in a course is I don't want full shot penalties. I don't want 2 shot penalties. But I also don't want any holes that have shots that have no penalty, right? Like we should be striving for half shot penalties, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about with small misses, right? If you hit one off the planet and you have to retee, that's on you, right?
Yeah.
But if you miss the fairway by 10 yards, it shouldn't be a 2-shot penalty. It should be a half-shot penalty.
Right.
And I think that's what that place just does so well.
Yeah, your score and your result is very proportional to the quality of shot you hit. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's reflected on every shot.
The scorecard tells a story.
Yeah.
If someone goes out there and whatever they shot, you can probably just say exactly what they were doing. The narrative is very easy to fill in.
Right. And that's not to say you can only play the course one way, right? But it is rewarding great shots and it is just penalizing bad shots.
Yep.
I think we've complained and we've kind of had qualms about some courses around here where a mediocre shot and a great shot end up in pretty similar spots.
Exactly.
Right? Where at Hollywood, the penalty is just so severe for that iron shot that's a groove low, right? And skips to the back of the green, right? Exactly. Versus a very solid shot that lands in probably the similar spot with correct trajectory, the correct spin, right? And is under the hole 10 feet looking for birdie, and the guy that kind of thins it a little bit lands in the same spot, but has 30 feet above the hole and probably can't really two-putt.
Exactly.
Right? And so it's just, I think
every shot separates.
It's cumulative.
It's cumulative, right? Yes. And by the end, the guy who shoots 72 and 82 versus if you played a course around here that's softer, not as penalizing, that guy shoots 72 and the other guy shoots 75.
Right.
That's to me it's just such a good test of golf, and it's a good test of golf too. Once again, like I said, the challenge doesn't lie in hazards. It doesn't lie in out of bounds stakes. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's not. It's right. It's that's a great course, man. It's one of my favorites, and I really think to get in the top whatever, it's definitely a top 10 for me.
Yeah, I think it's top 5 for me.
Yeah,
just in the amount of variety and the amount of stimulation out there. And like every shot is asking specific questions and you have to think on every shot. Mm-hmm. Like I was more mentally exhausted after playing Hollywood than physically exhausted. I think that's a great thing that I'm looking for out of a great golf course, right? It was just so mentally taxing on every shot because you're thinking about angles and just, there's just so much richness in how you need to play the golf course to play it the right way and make a great score.
Yep. That's well said. Yeah, we enjoyed it out there. Unfortunately, our time was cut short. We would have obviously liked to have been out there today. The match play continues today and tomorrow. So we're following that along.
Yeah.
shout out to some South Jersey guys, some Gap guys.
Yeah.
Phil Valeri from Riverton and Josh Feldsnyder from Burlington for making match play. As we're recording this, they're tied through 16 holes. So
hopefully they can bring that thing home.
they just birdied 16.
That's very
There was
strong.
only one birdie there all yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
And they're playing another 30 yards back. Birdieing that hole is incredible.
And now they got to go play 17 and 18. Right?
Yeah, the finish there is awesome.
Premier.
So looking forward to some of the things that we're playing in. What do you got going on? What am I saying? We're doing the AM together. I forgot.
Yeah, we're doing Coatesville on Monday.
Yeah, that's right.
That'll be kind of a full day. It's not a short drive up there.
No, it's not. I've learned to like Coatesville. I was telling you that. I feel like you're going to hate it if you've never played there, though.
Okay.
It's
I've
one of
never
those
played.
places, if you play it the first time, you're like, what the hell is this place?
Who designed it?
I think it's an Alex Finlay.
Ah, okay. I'm not familiar with his game.
No, he hasn't designed much. I think they credit Tavistock to him.
Okay.
Some say that he did Burlington. I'm not 100% sure on that, how true that is. But
So he's a
there's
decidedly
not really-
local guy.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he came from Scotland, but yeah, he did actually. I'm looking at his bio. He died in Philadelphia, so I guess he clearly would seem like he was a local guy.
Yeah.
They also credit Lanark to him as well,
Okay.
and Pittsburgh Field Club, which looks
Oh, those are
pretty good.
strong.
Yeah.
That's nice in the portfolio.
Yeah, so I think he seems like to me like for that, the age that he was designing, an above average architect.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right, not like anything stellar, but putting out some decent work.
Yeah.
But yeah, Coatesville's a weird one. That's another one. Like I don't know what the number will be. I'm assuming it'll just be your stock 3 over, like it's been everywhere else.
Yeah.
It's a strong field. It's a full field.
Yeah.
Taking a lot of spots, but 3 over feels about right.
Didn't it hold a was there a mid-am qualifier out there last
year? Yeah.
And wasn't it concrete out there last year?
It was firm. It was windy and cold. It was that was a tough day.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember I got in on the number and it was 77. So I'm going to say, you haircut 2 or 3 shots off for the AM and some better weather.
Okay.
But
yeah, with how competitive these qualifiers have gotten, I almost feel guilty asking you for some of the cliff notes at Coatesville, right? Like guys need any shot that they can get out there, right? You don't need to give your cards away, right? So
that's true.
Yeah, do your own research is kind of the name of the game at this point.
We're actually scheduled to play together for whatever weird reason.
Yeah.
We're literally going to call the Gap now and just say, please, we do not want to play together.
Yeah, break these guys up.
I mean, as much as I love you, I do not want to play with you on
Nah,
Monday.
me neither.
It's such a bad vibe. I don't.
Feeling's very mutual.
That's the thing too and getting back into how Gap allows you to pick your pairings, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me. I don't want to play with my friends in a tournament.
Yeah, I agree. You kind of want to do your own thing.
I want to focus. I want to just, I don't want to be, because what happens is naturally, like when I play in qualifiers, I just zone out. I don't even pay attention to what's going on around me. And it's just, whether that's the fault of me or not, that's how I focus. Right.
Yeah.
But if I play with you, I'm like, I'm invested in your game to some degree, right?
And that's not a productive.
And then all of a sudden,
use of your time.
right? It's just a waste of energy. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, Ben's playing bad. He made a double. That's a shame. It's just like, dude, like, I don't want to be. I don't want to riding around with them and trying to pump them. It's just, I just want to do my thing.
It sucks.
So the guys who get in these threesomes or foursomes with their buddies, I don't get it. I guess I don't get what the appeal to that is.
I know. I saw a threesome this morning at Baltimore. All have the same last name.
It's like a family outing.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not going to provide a lot of commentary on that, but that's interesting to say the least, right?
Yeah, it'd be like if me and my dad and my brother went out and played a
that would suck.
It does. It's such a weird vibe.
Yeah.
A couple years ago in that Riverton Open qualifier, I randomly got paired with my cousin who doesn't even play anything.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea how we got paired together. At first, I'm like, all right, this kind of sucks, but whatever. Then the guy dropped.
Oh, your third drop.
Yeah, so it was just me and my cousin in a twosome. And it was just like the worst vibe. It was like so unserious and it was just so weird. And like, next thing you know, I'm just kind of like hot. It just got really weird.
Yeah.
I didn't like the vibe.
No,
I didn't play well. And I was like, you know what? I'm never going to let this happen. Like I learned my lesson. Like I don't want to play with anybody unless it's in like the final round of the Gap Mid-Am or something where it's like, it's serious enough that like, I'm just going to put my blinders on no matter what.
Sure.
I don't give a fuck what Ben shoots. Like, you know what I mean?
Agree. No, I agree. Yeah.
But yes, we got the AM qualifier coming up and then, the Open
Gap
entries just opened today.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to do Jericho.
Yeah.
I could fill up quick. So
I registered already.
You did. Well, actually, I should sign up for that now because that's going to fill up quick. That's a good venue.
Yeah. And then I have the Jersey Mid-Am qualifier at Little Mill next week as well.
Nice.
White to blue. So I haven't played blue in a while. So I might need a refresher there. It's always fun going out to the mill, right? That's exacting as always.
Yeah. If you want to test, that's it.
Yep. So hopefully the number will be not that low at the mill. Hope not.
75 or 6 probably.
Yeah.
I would guess.
76 sounds right.
Yeah.
I would sign up for 76 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, good luck out there.
Yeah.
Union League's a good spot. That's another good Jersey venue. So they're nailing it this year.
Yeah.
I think that's all we got. We'll hopefully we'll regroup before the Mid-Am. Maybe we can do a little preview of that.
Absolutely.
At Commonwealth.
Yeah. Yeah. And
maybe we can post some lost ball totals and some high score number.
Maybe we can start hanging some numbers again. Yeah. And we'll probably recap the Jersey 4 ball in there too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. As always, thanks for tuning in, guys. And we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, everyone.